Crisis Core Reunion. This game, personally, it feels like a cash-in on the success of Final Fantasy VII. That's how it feels to me. It's about Zack. I always remember hearing some of the lore, or being confused about some of the lore, because I got to like disc 3 and I saw some things, I didn't understand some things, and I never beat it. And I didn't understand Zack, why Zack is such a big deal. And I don't think Zack is such a fucking big deal. He's not like this. I don't understand why I'm supposed to be excited. He was a big deal to Cloud. Okay, slight spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. Cloud looked up to this guy, so it impacted who Cloud is as a man. But he's not necessarily important to the storyline necessarily. He's kind of got this like happy-go-lucky attitude, so you're kind of like, well, he's a fucking idiot, but it's hard to hate the guy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But there's not much going on under that spiky hair. He's just sort of a goofball, and the story doesn't really go anywhere. Here's the thing that's stupid. Zack like mirrors Cloud beat for beat. Everyone who's played the game knows, so a certain amount of his persona is based on this guy. But that doesn't mean that the same events should have happened to both characters. That doesn't make sense. Like when Cloud meets Aerith, or Eris, I don't know which it is. There's a sequence where he falls through the ceiling of the church and lands on her flower bed. This is this classic moment. I can just picture this moment in the pixels from Final Fantasy VII, right? And it's this moment where these two characters meet. Wouldn't you know? That's how Zack and Aerith met too. Couldn't you believe they both fell on the same ceiling, landed in the same flower bed, and talked to the same girl? This for like 2 or 3 things. The same exact scenario that Cloud experiences in Final Fantasy VII later in the chronology happened to Zack. It's like, this is stupid. There's no subtlety at all. And I was like, did the same people write this shit? It feels like some guy just wrote fucking bad fan fiction. Some of the worst characters ever. There was this one guy who he just recites poetry every fucking time he talked to the guy. I swear to God, dude. He's just always spewing poetical verses at you. It's so annoying.
There is no hate, only joy, for you are beloved by the goddess. Hero of the dawn, healer of worlds.
Loveless again. You never change.
Oh my God. And this character, Angeal. Zack would be like, Angeal!
Did you do Angeal?
Like, I don't know, dude. Even though they remastered the graphics and stuff and like it looks pretty good, it was so obviously the design of a PSP game. Like the zones would only be like 25 seconds long, and then you zone into another screen. And you have to like load into the fights, and there's like a perimeter that you can't go outside of and stuff. Apparently they redesigned the entire gameplay, like the whole combat system and everything. I can't speak to that directly because I've only really delved into this remake of it, but apparently there was like a big overhaul of the combat to bring it more in line with the current remake series. And I thought the materia system was pretty cool. You could level up your materia, you could combine them to create new effects, like a sword slash that also has the thunder element attached to it or something, or you could get the Agas, like Blizz Aga, which was like a fucking AoE blizzard spell. You know what I'm saying? That shit was pretty cool. I delved into the materia system and I put the game on hard, and I delved into a lot of like the optional dungeons and shit like that to just grind and try to get stronger and stronger. And that was kind of like the only thing I liked to the game. Was the combat was pretty fun, but the story, man, was either dreadfully boring or painfully annoying at all times, exclusively. It revisits events or locations from the first game, because some of the first game is flashbacks, right? And it just sort of cheapens them in a way. I feel like I have an interesting relationship with Final Fantasy VII because I'm so impressed with the story when it begins, particularly for a game of that era. All right, you have such an idea of who your characters are and what their motivations are and what their station in the fucking world is, and what the state of the world is, and what the other factions in the world are, and what their motivations are. And it's a very grounded game. And there's so much momentum to the plot, and there's such a cool villain, and you're like pursuing the fucking villain. It's like this cool concept, okay? And then the story from there just goes Looney Tunes, particularly because the translation of the game was bad, and so I didn't really understand what they were saying sometimes. So I feel like the story jumps the shark, and I made a conscious effort to myself. I was like, when you play Rebirth, like, don't take the plot too seriously, because that might upset me and turn me off and say this is stupid. Just to be like, just enjoy the fucking, it's so cool, it's so awesome, you know what I mean? And it's nostalgic, and the graphics are amazing, and the design is so fucking cool, and it plays so well. It's fucking fun as hell. Don't think too hard about the plot. That's where I'm at, for better or worse. I think the plot's cool, and it has like momentum to it, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense, personally. I mean, you can fight me in the fucking forums, but Crisis Core, I feel like, is even worse, because it doesn't make sense, and it's dumb, and it's boring. I wouldn't recommend Crisis Core personally. You know, I beat a lot of games last year. I think Crisis Core was the one where I was like, please end. I was like, please, I'm sick. I'm sick, dude. I don't know. I didn't really like Crisis Core. I'll be honest. I thought it was stupid. I don't think Zack's an interesting character. You know, I just don't. And all of the fucking friends and his rivals and everything that they had to create for the cast of this game are some of the worst characters ever, dude. Anyway, if you liked it, man, good for you. I'm jealous.